This video will provide information about requesting your Canvas course, gaining access to a developmental shell, importing course content, adding assignments, announcements, and other content, using different Canvas features, grading, and contacting students through Canvas, among other features of working within the learning management system. The video will be available in the Teaching Community online spaces if you would like to review it later. Please note, to access My ASU and complete the next steps, you will need your ASU Write. Complete your HR-related documents so the ASU Write creation process can proceed. You will be logged into My ASU, and you will see that you will have your course assigned visible in your My Classes box. To access the information about how to request a course, I will share this information, this document, in the Teaching Community. You will follow the process below, clicking on the link that corresponds with the course that you would like to request, and then you will follow all of the steps. You can copy an existing Canvas course that you have taught, or one that's been taught by someone else, your course coordinator, or you can actually start from scratch and copy the content over later. You can schedule your start date and review all of your information before confirming your course request. You can also, right here, add an ASU Slack workspace if that is something that you would like to do to include for your students this fall. I want to review some notes about the process. Your course coordinator should have communicated with you and suggested you either copy from one of that person's previous courses or from the developmental shell. If you copy from one of their courses, you will need that course information from them. If you're copying from the dev shell, they will need to add you to the shell. To get dev shell access, the instructor should add you by the start of the semester. I want to be sure that you know that all of the content that we're talking about in preparing your course shell, such as the instructions for requesting the course, and just learning how to maneuver and work through a dev shell and how to copy content, that is all available on the LMS Canvas page of the Teacher Prep Resource Center website, which is linked in multiple places for you in the teaching community. We're going to look now at doing a couple of things in the Canvas shell. So this is an example training shell. I'm going to talk about copying from a dev shell, and I am going to just introduce you to some of the items in here. Some of you definitely may be familiar with Canvas, which of course is great. But just so you're aware, on the left-hand side, that's called the global navigation. And right here, this is our course navigation. So something you want to make sure that you are attending to is the navigation right here, because this is what your students will see. If you see the little eye with a line through it, then that means your students can't see it. So to change that, you would click on Settings, and that's going to take you to this Navigation tab right here. It's the third one. Click Navigation, and then the three dots right here, if you just hover and then click, will allow you to disable or move an item. So entirely up to you how you would like to organize that. Some people choose to have assignments not accessible here, and instead students will have to go through the modules to access the assignments, but others like to have assignments up here. So if I would like to move assignments up, I can actually drag and drop, or I can use the three dots. So I'm going to click on assignments and drag and bring that up here, and then I am going to come down here all the way down to save. That's a piece that people often forget because it's at the very bottom. So if I click on save, I am able to then see that I have made that change, and I can click back here to go home on my course title, or I can click home right here, and I'm able to see, based on looking at what's hidden, what students can see. Another piece that's very important, I think, is to use Student View right here, and this button, if you click on it, you'll see a purple banner on the very bottom of your Canvas course screen, and you can then see exactly what students are able to see. So notice what's available. We have the announcements, syllabus, grades, modules, etc. And you can actually move the order of these pieces by dragging and dropping back in that place where we looked at the navigation settings. So I'm going to click on Reset Student View, which is at the bottom right, and that's going to take me back to starting over, or I can click Leave Student View, and that takes me right here to where we were just a bit ago. thinking about if this were my course and I wanted to copy content in it from a dev shell that a course coordinator had shared with me, I would click on Settings, and then I have the option to import course content. And then right here I can choose the type, copy a Canvas course, and then I would need to select the course. And of course I have a number of things. You definitely wouldn't have that many to choose from. So I can choose whatever course I might want to copy. And then I would be able to pick all content if I want to copy over everything. Or I might click Select Specific Content, and then I click on Import. You might choose Adjust Events and Due Dates, but very likely the dev shell that you're copying won't even have those pieces in there, and you'll just be able to adjust those after you import. I'm going to click on Import. If I had selected everything, all content, this would automatically be going, but since I chose specific content, this is my option right here to choose. So I click Select Content, and perhaps I want a specific module, for example this Inquiry Impulse module. I choose that, select, and now the process is going to be starting soon. Right now I can see queued, and now it's running. Depending upon the number of pieces of content, pages, assignments, images, if it's numerous, then this process could take a little bit. But if it's not that much, then it's going to be a very quick process. Let's now look at the modules themselves. That's where all of the content is for students. So if I click on modules, I'm going to see some example items that are already here because this is the ASU Sync template that I have chosen to include. And this includes information for faculty and for students related to Sync. You can choose to copy this content over from the Canvas Commons, or your dev shell might already include that. If you're wondering what the Commons is, that is located right here in Global Navigation. The Commons is a place where you are able to access content available to everyone. And so what you can do in here is search specifically. And so I'm going to search for ASU Sync because I know that's the template that I would like to find. And this is, again, a template created specifically for ASU Sync, and it has a number of pieces of available content in it that you might want to share with your students. So I click on the title, and then I am able to see the content, and I am over here on the far right able to click on Import and Download. And then I choose which course I would like to put it in. Notice I have the option to put all, or I can scroll down and find the specific course that I would like to put it in. So I'm going to go ahead and find a course. I'm going to click on this one and then Import into Course. And then I get a green banner that tells me that I have started that import, and it will take a little bit of time to complete that. So then what I can do is go back to my dashboard if I choose to pick the course that I was working in. And that course was the Canvas Training Shell. And now what we can do is see how to create a module. So if I look down here, I've already created the name of one, Faculty Associate Canvas Training. To create a module, I would click right here and give it a name, and then I would be able to add module. Many of you won't be adding modules. You might be adding content to pre-existing modules because those will very likely already exist in the content that you have copied over from the dev shell. If you are adding an assignment or something else, you would go to the module that you would like to add it to. So that's that gray banner right here, this heading, and click on the plus sign. So I can choose assignment, which is the default, but I also have quiz, file, page discussion, text header, external URL, and external tool. So for this particular example, I'm going to pick assignment, and I'm going to choose new assignment, and I am going to give this a name. New student intro, and then I'm going to click add item, and I can click on the file itself, the page, the assignment, and now I am able to edit this. Click on edit. I made a mistake right there, my T, whoops. So I went ahead and changed that. This is called the Rich Content Editor, and I accessed this by just clicking on Edit. This is available in announcements, pages, assignments, all of these different areas within Canvas. And you have a variety of options. You can add a table right here. You can insert media, and that would be probably likely using a YouTube link or some other video link that you might put in here. You can, of course, add URL links by selecting and highlighting text and then adding links. You can embed images. This is for math equations. This is for Media Amp if you would like to record a number of videos or screencasts and then upload them to share with students. That's what Media Amp is, and you can get more information about that. This is external tools. Very likely you might use Google Apps and Google Drive for your options there. And then right here, this is a tool that I use constantly in a variety of spaces, and that is the record or upload media comment. And you can record using your microphone and your webcam, start a recording, and you are able to add whatever it is that you would like to add to your assignment, to your announcement, to your page, and students can do this same thing. And so I highly recommend, if you're looking at ways to differentiate instruction and to allow students choice in demonstrating their learning, that you provide them this media example. So I can click Finish, change the title right here, and click on Save. Of course, I can view this and start over if that's something that I'd want to do as well. So I'm going to click Save, and it's going to embed the video that I created right here into this assignment. If we were also just creating more information, of course, I would like to, for an assignment, tell students what to do. So I'm going to add my instructions right here. A piece that I really like about Canvas is anything that's over here on the right, other pages, for example, other assignments, quizzes, or announcements, I can click on them and they automatically get linked over here. So perhaps I would like to add this course overview and syllabus right here. And maybe there's a file that I'd like to add as well, an image or a PDF. Here's a document that has some guidelines I want my students to access, so I'm going to click on that. That's automatically embedded there as well. I can click back on links and I can see my other options. Maybe I'd like to direct students to go to a discussion that's already set up, so I can click on that. And you can see these options right here are available anytime you have this rich content editor, again, which is in announcements, pages, and assignments. So take advantage of this by linking content, not having to re-add it, not re-upload it, etc. It's a really useful tool. All right, so for our assignment, I would like to add any kind of instructions I want. Of course, I can change font sizes and all of those pieces up here just like I would with any content editor. I would need to make sure that I put the number of points available. The assignment group, of course, you can choose how to do that as you want. Most likely you're grading with points. Submission type. Very likely you're going to want to have an online submission type. If you choose text entry, which is where students will just type directly into a box, you have very limited grading options, so you can't highlight text or add comments within the text. So I stay away from text entry and don't use that. You might use website URL if that's an option that they can link a URL. You might use media recordings. Remember, I had already showed you the media upload, which could be an audio file in that media recorder, or it can be a webcam or video file. So if you will allow students to upload media or submit media recordings for assignments, you can click on that. And then file uploads is also an option which most of you will use, and that would include a Google Doc, a Word document, a slide presentation, a PDF, a JPEG. If you want to restrict upload file types, you can. The downside, though, is you have to type them in, so it can be tedious. Of course, you can copy and paste if you want to keep the list. Notice it says down here, enter a list of accepted extensions. For example, doc, XLS, TXT. So most people will choose to put doc and docx as the file types. Even if you choose that, students will have an option to put a Google Doc in, and it will convert it to a Word document that allows them to not have any more access to editing. So you can feel free to use that, and they will have the option to add docs. And people restrict file upload types from time to time because they don't want students submitting things like pages from Macs. If you have a PC, for example, and a student submits a pages file, you won't be able to open that. Going further down into our assignments, we can restrict submission attempts. We can choose to use a plagiarism review with Turnitin and identify what repository we want it to coming from, and if there's any restrictions, to exclude small sources. And of course, this is going to check your students' work across the repository. That might be website content, the institutional repository, etc. And then you'll see a score, and you can determine whether or not the students see it or not. So you can show students the report immediately, or after the assignment is graded, after the due date, or never. And you'll be able to identify the percentage, 5%, 10%, 20%, wherever the system deems that there has been some type of similarity in other documents. You can choose to do group assignments, and you'll have options there to group students. You can require peer reviews, and here you can actually determine whom you would like to have do the assignment. So if you would like to assign this to a different section or different students, that's what you would click on right there. And then the due date, which is really important. If I put the due date, for example, as the 26th of August, the default is always going to be 11:59 p.m. You can certainly change that time right here and put a different one, but I'm just going to keep it as the default. What's really important about this now is this assignment is on the student's calendar. And the students are very active in using the calendar in Canvas. So you will need to ensure that if students need to attend to something, so it's an assignment, it is a reading, it is whatever something that you're requiring them to do, that date needs to appear on the calendar. You can choose also to put available from and until if you would like to restrict access. So I can choose available from August 24th, 12 a.m. until the 27th when it's due, but that's an optional piece. The due date is not optional. You have to have that in there. And then I can save and publish, and by publish, that means, oops, I have to put it onto a course there. I can save and publish, and that is going to make it available to all of my students. And that green bar there indicates that it's published. So we have now created an assignment, and if I want, I can also add a rubric. So I can click on rubric right here and make my own if it's relevant only to this particular assignment, or I might be able to click on find a rubric and use one that is already available to me here, and then I am able to click on that. You have to open this up until you can see use this rubric. So I'm going to click on use this rubric, which of course I'm just randomly choosing one. It doesn't necessarily fit. In fact, it's worth only 10 points. But of course I can adjust that. I'm just showing you how this process works. And then I would be able to ensure that I have that assignment ready to go. I'm going to click back over to modules. And so I'm going to check out what that looks like. Notice we have new student intro. That's our assignment that we just created. But what's interesting is the green check mark, it's live and accessible, but students can't see the overarching module. So I have to publish the whole module in order for students to see what is within. So you can see, for example, down here, this module is published with the green arrow, the green circle there. This is not published. So students don't see that, and students don't see these pieces either. I'm going to show a couple of other items now. Announcements is something that you'll likely use frequently with your students. Very simply, you just click on Announcements, the plus announcement button, and input a title. And then, of course, you can add whatever content you like. If you recall, I showed you earlier how to add media. So if you'd like to record a media comment or perhaps an audio comment, you can just click on the mic right here and choose which mic you want to use and then record just audio, or you can use your webcam as well, and that will be uploaded into here. And of course, in announcements, you can link pages as well. So if you would like to direct your students to go to a particular assignment, for example, you can include that. And then of course, put a title here. If you do include items that are the media option, for example, this piece, as I mentioned before, students will get a copy of this announcement in their emails as well as in their Canvas inboxes. If they try to look at a media announcement in email, it will direct them to click on a link, and it's really small. So you might want to include something that says view in Canvas and watch video or something such as that, so students are able to realize that there's more content and it's not just a blank announcement with a tiny little link at the bottom. You can also delay posting if you like to set up your announcements, get them prepared, and then post later. So those are all options that you can include with announcements. If you choose to use discussions, those operate very similarly to other discussion boards, and you can just click discussion and add there. The syllabus is an item that you can choose to show or not. That's in that navigation that I showed earlier in the video. If you do choose to include syllabus as a navigation, then of course you'll paste your syllabus in here and students will see all of that content. This is an example. And then they will also see a course summary, and they'll see assignments and other things that are upcoming. Some instructors don't like that, so they choose to put their syllabus somewhere else. And if you do that, you can click in modules, for example, and you can actually include your syllabus under any of these and just label it syllabus, and then students will be able to see that. So those are some really quick items related to setting up, adding content to a module. Remember, if it's already in existence, you would click on this plus sign, and then you can add anything that you might want. You can add a quiz, for example. You're going to always, if you want to change the content, then you're going to click new quiz. If you want to add something that's already there, you'll see the options there. But for this case, I would click new quiz, click on the name, the group, etc., and then I would be able to modify that quiz. I will tell you that you should, if you are creating an assignment, for example, and you want to include content for students. So if I click on assignment, I'm creating a whole new assignment here, and I want them to access a document that is available through the library. Use the library link rather than the PDF due to copyright regulations, and also to draw traffic to ASU libraries. That is an item that they request. You can upload files here. If you need to upload a new file, of course these are already available, but to upload a new file, you will click here, choose the file, of course from your computer, and then click on open and upload. It will automatically place that document or file, whatever it might be, in the location that you choose if you're in an assignment or the rich content editor. So notice I already now have a copy of that there. So that's something that you can do. I'm going to go ahead and save this particular assignment. And I would like to also draw your attention to the option which is a Google Cloud assignment. So I'm going to click on, let's see here, assignments, new assignment, and I'll just put Google. And what you can do is add directions here. So perhaps your students are going to engage with a template that you have already created in Google, and it's in your Drive. And what they'll be able to do is each get a copy of the particular assignment or document, adjust, modify, edit, add answers, etc., and then submit it. So to do that, you would go on down here, and for submission type, you will choose External Tool. So I'm going to click on External Tool, and then I will click on Find. And this is my list of things available to me. And you can definitely look at some of these. Some of these might be relevant for you. So go ahead and go through them. Some of them may not be available, but you might want them to be. So you may have to contact an instructional designer if you don't see something that you're looking for, an external tool like PlayPosit, for example, or VoiceThread, or something like that, your course has to be added to a certain sub-account in Canvas to have access to those things. But in this case, the Google Cloud assignments are available for everyone. So I'm going to click on Google Docs Cloud Assignment. It's going to automatically bring up my drive. You will have to authorize that link for the very first time if you want to ensure that you have access to your Google Drive. Your Canvas and Google Drive are connected. I double-clicked instead of single-clicked. So I'm going to click right here. I'm going to access a document. So let's see here. I'm going to click on this and click Submit. And then I need to click Select. And so now I have this assignment that is created with that particular document. So if I click Save, notice it's going to embed the document below, and each student will receive a copy of it. And then when the students do whatever it is you want them to do on the document, they will click Submit, and automatically it will turn in what they have created. So that's an option for you to consider using. Next on our list is taking a look at the gradebook. I only have 2 students in my gradebook because this is just a sample. But what I can do here is view the assignments and view the submissions. So I can click on the top right here, which is the name of the assignment, and it's going to bring up all of my submissions. As I'm looking at my submissions, the easiest way to get to access them is through SpeedGrader, which is the grading tool in Canvas. This is an example submission, and these are the tools that are available for you. You can mark up and highlight and add comments based on specific areas. You can add text right here, strike through, draw, add a box, for example, and then perhaps a comment that's related to a section that you have input here. And your students, of course, will be able to see all of this on their documents. If you have a rubric attached, you will click View Rubric, and you will be able to see that by dragging this over a little bit. You might have to move that around, or you can scroll over, and then of course you will input your points related to the score, and the system will do the math for you. You would be able to then scroll over here, hit Save, and then I can also add in a comment right here. So I might want to add an overall comment by typing. I can also use this paperclip and attach a file. Here's that media recorder again, if you recall. So if you would like to provide feedback to your students through video or audio, you can do that by just recording, and then it will embed that there. And another item that I really like is the audio to text, the speech to text. So if you click on this and click the record button, I really think that you did a good job on this, period. I hope that you will consider looking into the text a little bit deeper the next time, though, period. Notice that it's perfect. Whoop, I'm still recording. Stop. So what it did is it put my assignment comments here. For some reason, there's some extra space there, so I can delete that, and then I can delete that last part. And if that's exactly like I want it to say, or add more pieces, take it away, I can click Submit. And this really speeds up the grading process by using this microphone on your laptop, for example, or if you have an external microphone, that will make it a lot faster. To go through different assignments different students for the same assignment, you will click through here. The student doesn't have a submission yet, you will see, but you'll be able to click through if you have a number of students here, and you can also use this down arrow, and you will be able to see which students need grading and which students do not. To get back to my gradebook, I can click here. I have some different settings I can change right here if that's something that you want to take a look at. If I'm going to click back on my gradebook, I also have settings right here in my gradebook. Those include a late policy, so I can actually add a decrease in percentage for a late policy. And then I can change my grade posting policy as well. So if I don't want students to see all scores immediately, I can adjust that right here, and I can release all grades at once if that's what I want to do for a particular assignment. So those are the basics in the gradebook. You do have a number of options available that I haven't even delved into. And that and then other areas within Canvas, you're able to gain much more training and support at the ASU LMS website, which I will be providing links to. And then if you recall, this Canvas page also has more information. So this is the link to the LMS site. This provides training, resources for instructors, and all kinds of different pieces. If I click on the home button here, that takes me to the home Canvas support, and I can go to virtual office hours. And one of my favorite things are quick tips. So I can click on grades, for example, and they have videos that are 2 minutes or less related to grading, and this is a very good resource. Okay, as we wrap up the gradebook area, I do want to mention that you can see these 3 dots on each assignment. You have some options here. If I click on this, you can change the sort by, you can go directly to the speed grader, you can message students who, which is a really nice feature. So you can message students who have not submitted, or if they haven't been graded, or scored less than or more than. And so those messages will go right out from the gradebook there. Also, you are able to curve grades, set a default grade, and you can see all of those other items as well. You can contact students from here. So if you are working on the gradebook and you want to send an email to a student, click on the name, and notice you can see some analytics, some grades, and just a quick overview of that student. And then you have this envelope right here. So clicking on the envelope will bring up the option to send a message to that single student, which is a really nice feature and makes it convenient. Also, you might want to contact students through the inbox, which is available right here. So if I click on the inbox, what I need to do is click on the compose a new message and then select a course. You can favorite courses, or and those are the courses that you've favorited in Canvas, or you can just go down your whole list. So perhaps I would like to contact a specific student in this course, for example. I can start typing a name right here and it will bring up everybody related, or I can click on the options here and I'll have teachers, so I can send messages to fellow teachers, or I can click on that and send to a specific student, put a subject, and then notice here, send an individual message to each recipient. That's a great option, just due to FERPA laws, FERPA concerns, I should say. So if you do send messages out to the entire course, then they will go out as individual messages. And notice right here in your composing a message, you can add video, media. Remember, we already talked about the audio or the video messages. You can do that in an email. And you can also attach a file here, or simply type whatever you might want to send to that particular student or group of students. All right, I realize that we have just covered a very large amount of information, and so you might want to view this again, or of course you have multiple options to get further information and access resources. So I'm going to click on My ASU right here, and I'm going to bring your attention to the Service tab. So of course everybody has access to My ASU as an instructor, and on the Service tab, this takes you to your IT services. You can do a live chat, a new ticket, or you can call right here if you have an IT related question and you can access UTO. I will also make sure that you are aware that we have the Teacher Prep Resource Center, specifically the Canvas page, but then other information on there as well. And then finally, access to really all of this information, trying to make it conveniently placed in 2 locations, primarily Canvas for all of the resources. So if you click here, you can see all of these different pieces that we have talked about. You can click right here on ASU Canvas Training and Support and go directly to that LMS site that I was mentioning, which is ASU Canvas Support. And you can also remember, if you have questions, if you want to confer with others and perhaps get some assistance, you can use the MLFTC Teaching and Learning Network Slack workspace. So this shows the announcements channel, which I'm going to be sharing all kinds of information here, and then Canvas Help, EdTech, MLFTC faculty support. Again, remember, those of us working here, teaching here this fall are going to be adding a variety of resources, asking questions, sharing information about training options. All of these different things are going to be available in here. So if there is at least one channel that you access in Slack, I highly recommend it's this one, MLFTC Faculty Support. And then remember, you can send direct messages to people through here as well, if you would like to connect with others who are teaching similar courses, or you can access these channels as well. So you have a variety of places where you can access information as you are using Canvas for instruction. And I hope that this video has been helpful, and I hope you will also access the teaching and learning community in Canvas and Slack.